If you struggle with freestyle, the longer you swim and you feel more resistance, this video, I'm going to explain why that's happening and how to shift your energy forward to improve your efficiency. Hey swimmers, welcome back to the Swim Vice channel. I'm Coach Mandy, and today's quick tip video is on freestyle, highlighting why you are progressively feeling more resistance the further you swim and how to incorporate feeling less resistance and to also feel a lower stroke count. Now, before I get started, if you are new to the channel or you've been watching my content, be sure to hit the subscribe button below. That way you stay notified for new and exciting content weekly, and you also support the channel. All right, swimmers, let's get into it.
Okay, swimmers, in this video, I'll be demonstrating how swimming at a slower tempo for distance while maintaining a low stroke count can actually make you swim faster. This approach is not only efficient, but also sustainable for long distance swims, all with minimal kicking. I'll also show you what happens when you swim at a too fast of a tempo for your skill level and how it can break you down and ironically slow you down. And finally, I'll give you a sneak peek into my SwimVice speed program calculator to confirm the results from the first demo. This tool is key to achieving a sub-hour 2.4 Ironman swim or a 25-minute 1.2 mile swim. If you're a triathlete looking to get faster, keep watching all the way through to not miss out. The math doesn't lie, and that's what makes this a clear direction moving forward in your training. I'm not coaching on theory. I rely on concrete numbers to test and determine what works best for your individual skill level and what's most important to execute for achieving long-term results. Here I am demonstrating my 100 pace for long distance swimming. This pace is comfortable for my skill level, allowing me to swim efficiently without breaking down. It helps me to stay in control of my swim rather than reacting by swimming at a tempo that's too fast for me. My stroke tempo is around 0.93 seconds per stroke, and I'm averaging about 15.5 strokes per length. I am also only swimming 20 yards, so when I take my first stroke, it's around the flags. This way it's more accurate for open water swimming. You'll notice that I alternate between a 2-beat and a 4-beat kick when swimming distance. Regardless of the kick pattern, my kick remains minimal with little disturbance in the water. This approach prevents me from burning out too quickly and makes my swim much more sustainable over long distances. And even just visually looking at this, it doesn't look like I'm swimming fast. But for those that are watching, especially triathletes that are looking to even get into a minute 45 pace, you'll see here that I'll finish in a minute and 12 seconds. Just because swimming faster, you'd think to move your arms and kick harder will make you faster. It's not necessarily the case. It's more about economy of movement first. And you can see here that I finish in a minute and 12 to a minute to 13 seconds for the 100. Now be sure to remember that number for the end of this video. Here I'm demonstrating what typically happens when you swim too fast or you're trying to power your way through distance. You'll start to kick very hard with a lot of splashing, and you try to churn your arms too quickly. This leads to burnout, increasing your resistance, losing your distance per stroke, and overall swimming slower. Here you can see that kicking harder will start to arch your lower back, throw you out of alignment, and you can see my arms are moving too quickly, not necessarily in a windmill pattern, but close. And what that does is it shortens your distance per stroke or your stroke length, which ultimately makes you swim slower, even though you're moving your arms and legs fast. So visually, it might look like you're swimming faster, but in reality, you end up swimming slower. You can also see there's a lot of unnecessary movement. So instead, you want to focus on a high body line, but with minimal kicking, and also not churning your arms so fast. So the movement is slower, but that does not mean you swim slower because you're increasing your stroke length. So if you're watching this video and you're averaging a minute 40 or above, your priority is to maintain a high body line and focus on economy of movement, as you see in this freeze frame. That is far more beneficial to help you achieve your desired pace rather than trying to burn out and muscle through each distance. When being in more of a reactive state and trying to muscle through each distance to swim faster, typically this is the pattern that most swimmers will revert to, which is looking forward, churning arms, kicking harder. And you can see here that that creates more drag, a bigger space through the water, and it's uncomfortable. You end up being very winded, and I'm sure many of you watching this have experienced that yourselves, and typically this is what's occurring when you're trying to swim faster. You can see how loud the swimming is with lots of bubbles and disturbances, and that just leads to all of your energy going everywhere other than forward. And if you breathe often, as you see here, or every other stroke, then half of your distance is this disrupted pattern times 10. And over a span of a mile or a 2.4 mile swim, it becomes increasingly more challenging to execute the time that you want. Okay, so remember how I executed my 100 pace distance time, averaging about 15.5 strokes, with a tempo of 0.94 seconds per stroke or 0.94 seconds per hand entry. And I am 5'7". I will show you a sneak peek into my SwimVice speed calculator to confirm those results. Okay, so here you can see that I put my height in, which is 67 inches. And then I went ahead and entered my strokes per length, which was 15.5 average, and my tempo, which was 0.94. That led to an automatic stroke rate of 64 strokes per minute and a stroke length of 1.29 yards per stroke. My percentage of efficiency is about 69% of my height, which is really good. And my overall speed, which is yards per second, is 1.37. And that leads to a 100 pace time of 1 minute 12.99 seconds, which is pretty close. And that would lead to a 1.2 mile swim of 25.69 minutes and a 2.4 mile swim at around 51 minutes, which is really good. So if you're watching this and you would love to see those results in your swim, or even be able to swim 15 seconds faster per 100 for distance, this is how you'll get there. And this is included and outlined in my SwimVice Speed program.
Okay, swimmers, if you already understand what your stroke count is, but you have a specific goal of what you want your average strokes per length to be, share with me in the comments below. If you're looking to improve your freestyle speed and efficiency, hit the pinned comments below and join my SwimVice program today, specifically on the speed program. I highlight exactly how to incorporate a reduction in drag and understanding metrics to get to your desired pace. You will also have access to other courses within the platform. And if you go to swimvice.com, I also have more resources to help with your swim training. All right, swimmers, enjoy your practice, and I will see you all next week.